Black Americans are leaving the US and moving to Kenya, Africa, saying home is calling. Western powers didn't see this coming. A growing number of Black Americans are leaving the United States and moving to Kenya. They say they want to reconnect with Africa, feel safe, and build a new life. People like Kenneth Harris, a retired veteran, sold everything and bought a one-way ticket to Nairobi. Now he runs an Airbnb and lives where he feels accepted. Others say life in the US is full of stress, racism, high costs, and no peace. In Africa, especially Kenya, housing, food, and community feel more affordable and warm. This reverse migration is gaining speed. Businesses are opening, people are buying homes, and many are returning with money, skills, and hope. Experts say this could lift African economies and change how the world sees it. The West is watching, some shocked, others trying to understand, because this move isn't just about geography, it's about identity, dignity, and reclaiming a lost connection. Today, Africa is not just a map on a wall, it's becoming home again.
Because we had like 30 minutes to get to our other plane. So we had someone come and pick us up on a bus, and off we were to our next flight. Next airplane ride was shorter. It was like 4 hours, and it was honestly fine. It was kind of packed, this plane. The first one wasn't. Here we are taking off, and to be honest, I was asleep this whole flight because I was exhausted. And then as quick as we took off, this is me landing in the motherland for the first time in a long time. And this is the long-ass line we were welcomed with. And it took about an hour for us to get our baggage and get through this line. We were picked up at the airport by my sister's family, who I met for the first time ever, and my aunt. This was a really tough journey, and I hope you guys are along for the ride because it's crazy and I need to talk about it.
So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well today and everything is going on well for you. So if you're new here, and if you're not new here, probably you've realized that I speak about the struggles and basically what an African person is made of, and I'm basing my opinion mostly on the African communities who are staying in the diaspora or rather abroad. So suddenly there is this shift that we are experiencing, and the world is waking up. So most of the African communities, or rather the Black African people who are in the diaspora, are trying to find their route back home. So what fascinates me more, or rather what amazes me more, is that most people, especially if you've come across these videos on TikTok where somebody is asking you to, like, you know, hey, can you name one country in Africa? And then somebody will say like, no, Africa is a country. And then you'll be like, oh wait, no, Africa is a continent. So today I'm here to tell you that Africa is indeed a continent. We have 54 countries. We have 54 countries which are independent countries. One of them could be Kenya, one of them is South Africa, one of them is Namibia, one of them is Zambia, we have Tanzania, we have Uganda, name them all. So those are some of the countries that we have, apart from the ones that I've not mentioned. So currently, we've seen how the situation is, especially in the United States of America, and most people are trying to get their roots back home, especially with the new rules that are being enforced by the government, the Donald Trump government. It's not really fair, we've seen it, and this is not affecting only the Black communities, it is also affecting the Hispanic people, the Latino people, and all that. If you've watched one of my videos, I've been vocal about that most of the time. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm seated here and I've been wondering for a moment, what kind of history do people in America, in Europe learn? Because for us in Africa, what we do, we've learned about the agrarian revolution, we've learned about the evolution of man, where we find that Africa is a cradle land of man. The first person to be identified as a human being was identified in Africa. And we also learn a lot. We also learn a lot how the American system is in terms of governance, you know, all that. But I've been wondering, in those books that history. You guys learn history, right? So have you ever come across anything about the African setup? Have you ever come across about the migration period? Have you ever come across about the slavery period? Because I'm so convinced that if that was put into books for history, for the generation that is coming to learn, we will show some sympathy and get to understand that the black people, this is where they're coming from. They are people who came from miles away. Most of the time I call it people who crossed the ocean. They crossed the ocean, they crossed the mountains, and they came to Africa to colonize Africans. And it wasn't an easy ride. It wasn't an easy ride. Even the slavery period wasn't an easy ride. There were forced marriages. There was like forced labor. So most of the stuffs that have also developed in the United States of America, black people, or rather the immigrants, the ones that are being deported right now, were the people who contributed to such. And I'm feeling like in most of the time, even the black people who are staying in diaspora, whose maybe great grandparents were deported, or rather they were enslaved in Europe, in America, they don't really know anything about home. So for them, most of the time, if you've listened to most videos, you'll feel like maybe the other African people do not want them and so on. No, that is not the case. That is not the case. And I would urge, like, everyone, if you would like to find your roots, where you've come from, African people are they're very friendly. I would say we are friendly because I've interacted with most of my friends who have traveled abroad, who have like very good traveling history. And even when you're at the airport, the airports are so big, and then you can't even ask somebody, you cannot ask somebody, yeah, that is different from home. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, so today's episode is just to tell you that you need to learn about Africa as well. Be contented, be intentional with it. It's not what the media has shown you, it's not what people have shown you, it's not what the history have described. But you need to travel, you need to come, you need to see it for yourself. Yeah, so guys, just in case you're new here, my name is Yvonne, and thank you for coming across my channel. I really appreciate it. And to my new subscribers, thank you so much for staying. For my new subscribers, you are welcome to being part of my online family. Please let me know about your experience, especially in Africa. And for those people who have not had a larger experience, there are a lot of people who are doing videos concerning Africa. One of them, we have Aisha Speed, who did like a lot of countries. You can watch his videos and get to learn about the African culture. Until next time, see ya.